Hi, I'm Daniel Green for Women of Today, and I want to thank Camila so much for inviting me on the show today and creating one of my dishes. Let me tell you what it is. It's a little trip around the world. We're going to Italy for a Tuscan dish that looks like restaurant food. You've got some beautiful shrimp with paprika, a bean puree, some truffle oil. But guess what? It takes you a few minutes to make, and everyone's got the ingredients in their pantry. A can of beans, some frozen shrimp. It's literally that easy in a few minutes. Let me show you how. It's so fabulous just to be able to make a can of beans look fabulous and taste great. And that's what we've got here, drained and just rinsed through. Got some salt and pepper, some lemon, a little bit of garlic, some paprika, some chives that were actually from my garden, some beautiful shrimp. These are really large. You want to get as big as you can for this dish. I've got some olive oil. I'm going to blend it all up, and then I'm going to finish it with a little bit of truffle oil. Now, you don't have to do that, but it just makes it a little bit more kind of authentic and a real kind of elegant dining. And I want to show people that you can do this so easily and make you feel like you're in that restaurant. I've been so lucky and privileged for my work, taking me around the world from Thailand, Hong Kong, Italy, so many times, and France. And I love trying to create that at home where you feel like you've just taken a moment out and you've gone to that place. Italy's all about very simple ingredients. If you think about it, you think about maybe a mozzarella and tomato salad with basil. That's all it is, 3 ingredients, but it's the quality of them and what they do with it. So this kind of represents that. Just a few ingredients goes a long way. Now what I've got is a pan which I've got on a medium heat. I like to oil the food and not the pan. That way it really uses less oil, and we don't really like to cook high on olive oil, but this just kind of coats it and it gives just enough to give some color. My food has always been about healthy eating. I've got my 12th book coming out in October, and to me, my passion, the reason I got into this, I lost 65 pounds. And that was back in like the early 90s. And in those days, everything was fat-free. It wasn't about protein. It wasn't about carbohydrates. But what I learned is fat doesn't have to be flavor. You can have amazing food. And it was my success, my path to weight loss that I maintained for over 30 years. So I eat like this every day. I have lots of protein, big portions. And we all kind of know now what's good for us, don't we? We know that we've got to have vegetables and fruits, and we've got to have protein, and carbs are kind of the off list. But I don't want to make that a little bit more exciting. So take a look. Get some little sizzle on here. Take these shrimp that will cook in seconds. You know, with shrimp, as soon as they change color, they're going to be cooked. Now, these ones I actually butterflied myself. I got them with the heads on, which I love. And you don't see that much here in the US. I've lived here 17 years now. And, you know, big tiger shrimp with the heads on, you see all over Europe, you see all over the world. There's so much flavor in those heads. Oh my goodness, it's amazing, but a lot of people don't love it. But I do like buying them that way, and I did use that for a broth. But here you've just got these shrimp that are so meaty and gorgeous, and they're fabulous. So they've been seasoned up, they're cooking. I'm going to turn the heat down a little because I'm going to make this bean puree. I've got a little blender, and I'm going to put in some olive oil. I always keep my olive oil in a little squeezy bottle because it kind of just makes it very easy to hit exactly where I want it. I've got quite a bit here, but we're only going to use about half of this per portion, not even. And then some garlic. And with the garlic, when you don't cook garlic, it's incredibly pungent and strong. So I'm just using like that, a few little slithers. Now, I sometimes, if I have time, can do these where you have a beautiful baked roasted garlic. I'll put the oven at 400 degrees, wrap it in foil, cut it in half with the whole bulb, drizzle some olive oil on, about 30 minutes, and it comes out like butter. Beautiful, and you can eat the whole cloves and they're not strong. I'm going to turn these shrimp because they're almost ready. Do you see how much color I got without using the fat? You know, really, I want to show people that you can cut down on the fat. A lot of chefs kind of go into that instant, add the fat, add the oil, add the butters. I just am more conscious of that and try to get it where it feels like it's a healthier way. And definitely, you know, some saturated fat's okay, but we want to try and limit it. I'm going to use my hands as a sieve, and I'm just putting a little squeeze of lemon juice in here. I just want to cut the acidity of that olive oil, just so it's not too strong. And that goes in there. And then I'm going to pop and take these beans. Now, I want you to think about this dish with purees. I mean, do a chickpea, so it's going to taste a little bit like hummus. Do a black bean, absolutely fabulous. Do a mix of beans, brilliant. But it's something we've always got on hand, isn't it? We've always got these cans in our pantry, and this is the kind of dish that anytime it will be there in my freezer, and I can make this dish. Now, those are almost cooked. I love this little blender, because all I do is give it a little, oop, take one away, I dropped one. Now I love this little blender because it doesn't feel like you've got to get the whole food processor out and it's a big deal to do, not at all. I'm just going to put these, because they're huge shrimp and they've been butterflied like that, I just need to put them up here so they get cooked on their back for just a minute. Now, I've got some fresh chives and the paprika is going to go on after. I'll put a little bit of salt. I don't over salt, I try to use as little as possible, because I know you're going to do it your way anyway, right? You're going to make it with the amount that you like. And then I'm going to take some chives. And, you know, you need colour in food. You've always got to make sure that things look fabulous. So I'm just going to cut a few little slices. And you could do a big bunch of these. There's a fragrance that releases. We've also got just some colour that looks pretty on the dish. Now, to start with, I'm going to put a few in here. Why did I not do that when I blended it? Because it would have just kind of turned it a little bit green. I didn't want to make that. I wanted to just kind of incorporate it very well. I'm going to take my puree and do a really nice couple of heaped tablespoons there. I'm going to take a little bit of paprika and I'm going to add it to the shrimp now. Why didn't I do that before? Well, it would burn them. You'd get a real kind of black mark on those shrimp. So I kind of just want to add it at the end. Paprika, smoked, has a lovely flavor. You don't want to overpower it. One that's used very much in Spain, Italy, with seafood. And I'm just going to kind of coat it in that pan just so I get a little bit of color. And this dish, as I promised you, was no time at all to make. Then I'm going to pop those in here in a nice little line. And then there was one left over. Which I had to try. That paprika is wonderful. Again, to me, it takes me on a journey. It takes me to Spain or Italy. It takes me to a place that I want to be. And that's what happens with the flavors you use, right? You know, you've had fresh basil or garlic that's harvested in May in the south of France. And it's like, my goodness, you know, that's just taking me on that little journey. And that's what I want to do. And then just a little bit, this is optional, of that truffle oil. Oh my goodness. That aroma is out of this world. I could be sitting in some little Italian village and being served up this beautiful dish. Well, I hope you've loved it. It's very easy to make. It's taken me on a journey. I hope it takes you on a journey. Camila, thanks for having me. I hope we get to cook sometime.